That's good for them. I'm very excited for Daybreak too. We'll talk about it on stream, but I've played that demo and I'm super excited after what I experienced. I'm lucky. I have both. So honestly, I might get Daybreak 2 and PC too. I'm not sure yet. I already have the collector's edition coming in for PS5, but the PS5 version doesn't exactly run that great, so I might get it on PC just to maximize performance. Doesn't? Huh. Huh, do you think Unreal Legend 5 would better on PS5 and PC? But I guess not. Then again, it's Koei Tecmo, so why am I not surprised? Yeah, but that's a different team. Like, Team Ninja's always been a little bit iffy when it comes to optimization. Like, Gust is perfectly fine. Like, all those games run great. So I do wish they did upgrade Rise of 1 for 60 FPS on PS5. Because it was a bit jarring when I played through it. I need to play Rise of 2 and 3. After all these new games come out, maybe. Maybe. Then I'll get to it.
Out, and we are live with the Airship podcast, episode 3 of it. I have today, on this very special day, my two friends, Kita Eris and Sable Corgi. Uh, if they'd like to take a minute to introduce themselves, Joey, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Keita Eris, also known as Joey. I'm a massive RPG fan, Final Fantasy, Trails, we're going to be talking about today, Persona, things like that. I'm on both Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. You guys want to follow me there. And I hope you guys enjoy the show.
All right, good introduction. Corgi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem. I go by Sable Corgi. Only recently got back into gaming, specifically with RPGs and things of that nature. Started, uh, ironically enough, with Persona 5. Came full circle, started trying other things, and Trails has pretty much taken over as my number one series now.
That'll definitely
I
happen.
feel bad. We all started out with Persona 5.
Oh, hold on. I'm not like you plebs. I started with a real game. I started with Kingdom Hearts. I was in a different form of anime nonsense. So, yeah, episode today of the podcast. As we've all stated, we're all very big Trails fans, and we're excited for this year, 2025, as not only is Daybreak 2 coming out, but we are also getting a Trails port of that weird fighting game. We'll start with that one, because I'm pretty sure everyone else knows what the other one is. Like, that was kind of a left field announcement for me personally. I did not expect them to remaster that fighting game.
It came out of nowhere, too. There might have been like an event or anything. Does it have like a random comment or something like, oh, hey, this is coming to PC and consoles?
Yeah, like, I assumed that was just going to stay on the PSP forever. But,
Yeah, it was just kind of random, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
yeah, I'm definitely going to play.
I played a little bit of Ys too, so
Yeah, I have like I have so little yeast knowledge that I'm more just interested in shooting people with Oliver than I am playing as the red-haired guy.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like, oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, everybody's got their favorites. I mean, I just think it'd be funny to just, run around as Estelle and hit everybody with a staff.
True. It is going to be an interesting
Game's
game.
also that game's also so old that Lloyd was featured as a sneak peek character.
Wait,
Way
really?
back before Trails of Zero released.
Oh, wow, that is kind of crazy. Honestly, that is something I'm interested. I wonder if there's going to be crossplay because I do want to kind of play that a little bit with people.
If it's not crossplay, then unfortunately that game's gonna die very, very fast.
I don't know how strong like a
Nobody's going to be playing that game.
I mean, I'm certain it can't be like super hard to make crossplay of a PSP game for like all three systems that are, let's be real, are 10 times stronger than it at this point.
But does Capcom and XE gonna put the effort?
Yeah,
We'll just have to see.
yeah,
It's just gonna be a double word.
yeah. Either way, I'm excited. I want to review every Trails game, so that's gonna be fun to play. I'll get yelled at by Yeast fans for not knowing who the red-haired guy is. I'm just gonna call him like different red-haired anime protagonists instead of his actual name.
You always know how to name people.
Yep, I'm that good. And so that was a minor announcement. And then there was the bigger one, which is the reveal of Trails Through Daybreak 2, which is apparently the most divisive game in the entire series next to Cold Steel 4.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, it's very divisive.
People are.
A lot of my friends I know hate that game, and I'm really curious why.
I see a lot of people say they love parts of it, but there's just parts of it they cannot stand in the slightest.
Yeah, and that's kind of a lot of the same that I've heard too. And I think that it's all going to vary based off of how much mileage we get out of the buildup of each character. Because apparently there's not as much plot going on. It's more just character building for Kai afterwards. So I think that's really going to be how people find it divisive or not. Is do you like what they did with the individual characters or not?
Yeah, like I'm already a huge fan of Arkwright Solutions, so getting more of them is never going to be a problem for me. Also, speaking of characters, did you hear apparently Reen is handled super well in Kai?
I'm not surprised. That is their golden boy.
Like apparently, like because one thing I was worried about when I heard about Reen coming back is like one thing I will share right here and now is I am not a huge fan of characters returning just for the sake of coming back. Like,
Yeah.
and that was my biggest worry about when I learned Reen was coming back. Because I was like, oh, I really.
Have a reason to come back, and it's to beat Shizuna because she can beat his ass.
Yeah, but at the same time, these are like 60 to 80-hour games, and it's like if you're bringing him back for just that and then to just put him in the plot, that's got me really worried. Because I love Reen, don't get me wrong, but I do not want him to just be brought back just so they can sell copies. And thankfully, hearing how he's. Yeah, and thankfully, like, learning how he's written, that makes me happy that he isn't just there to be there.
Yeah, it seems that they're handling all of the returning characters well for Kai. And Daybreak 2 for that matter. Especially the ones that I know so far. I don't know if there's any more.
Uh,
But without spoilers, there are returning characters from the
yeah.
previous games in Daybreak 2.
Hey, Corgi, I think you accidentally muted yourself for.
No, I was taking a drink of something. So.
Oh, all right, that's fair. So, yeah, what do you have to say about all that, Corgi? How do you feel about characters returning?
I mean, there's got to be a reason for it, right?
Right.
Because I mean, at this point, certain characters have like come back, and I mean, at this point, you've got I think she's in 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
So, it's like give me a reason for it, or if you're going to bring somebody back, make it somebody different.
I-
I'm not saying go completely to the well and get somebody irrelevant and bring them back, but just give me something different if you're going to start bringing people back for the sake of it.
That
It's kind of cheesy.
that is.
Kind of cheesy if you just bring them back to sell, just trying to sell more copies based off of popularity polls.
Yeah. Thankfully, like I think Falcon's team is very good at writing their characters. So
Yeah.
For the most part.
w-
There
w-
have been a couple.
we do not speak of Angelica past Cold Steel 2.
Angelica, George, Gino.
Man, that scene in Cold Steel 4 is still to this day one of the fucking funniest things I've ever seen, where he just pulls out the fucking gun. Just,
Yes.
like, why not just have him walk away? Why was he gonna blow his brains out?
It was so stupid.
Uh,
Claire and Lecter did the same shit too. And it was just like,
Yeah.
I will say this: I think Claire and Lecter were handled better than George, but but I didn't really like the direction they took with that one.
how bad did they butcher my boy Lecter? Claire, I
Oh,
respect. Because
Yeah.
that was her character, but Lecter had no reason to be that way.
Yeah, especially because in all the other games, he's like cunning guy, and he's thinking, three steps ahead of everything, and he's like, well, I guess I'm evil. I'm gonna go along with this.
I think the
Don't know
weirdest
why, and then he just does it.
I think the weirdest thing about Lecter is like at least what I liked about it. I'm not against the concept of making him a bit more sympathetic, but to me, Lecter worked better when he was just an asshole who looked out for himself.
Yeah.
Like Azure, where the only one that really got under his skin was Chloe because she was just the complete and total opposite of who he was. Very earnest and upfront, always trying to do the right thing, and it always bugged him. Like I felt like that was a good dynamic.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun in the Sky games. They're back and forth.
Yeah, like, and then it's just later on he's like, well, I really cared about Millium, and it's like, when the fuck did you show that? Like, that blew my mind that it was his reason. Like,
Yeah.
like, apparently there's a scene in Cold Steel 2 where they say, like, oh, he bought me toys, and it's like, can we just have that in the main story? Like, if that's gonna be a plot point in 4, then maybe that should be in the story.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Cold Steel 2 secret ending is,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, the worst part is I didn't even know that was a thing until I heard about it like months after I finished. I was like, oh, well shoot.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't going to bother with doing a replay of Cold. I loved Cold Steel 2. It's probably my favorite Cold Steel game, but like I am not going to replay an entire game just to get to one scene.
Yeah. That I can agree with.
Like if you gave me multiple if you gave me like multiple super bosses on a replay, I would do it in a heartbeat. But like yeah, but like Trails is not really a super boss game series. They're not like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts where they'll stick like 20 of them. It was. It's also Shizuna and Daybreak if you did the rest of the replica battles. It kind of does. I think I'll.
I guess would you count the fight in Azure too? Right? When the city's burning down, that's another one.
I,
Yeah, gotcha.
man, those fights were like at the very least. I want to say this as much as I'm not a huge fan of those fights. Like I do like the fact that you can actually win them if you're smart enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't hit you with my other 4 crafts yet. What do you mean it's over? And yeah, Daybreak 2, very divisive, very interesting title. Because again, Daybreak has become one of my favorite games in the series. I still think Sky SC is my personal favorite. Do you guys have a personal favorite?
I think for me, Daybreak kind of jumped to the front. Um, just in terms of everything, I tend to really like the first game in every arc. Just because you get to explore a new place, there's different, ins and outs to everything. Which I know on most people's top 10 lists, usually those ones are the ones close to the bottom. But I get a lot of enjoyment out of them because they have a different pace and feeling to them, especially like Cold Steel 1 and Sky First Chapter feel completely different to the games and the rest of their arcs. Um, and actually, those are the ones I've actually played the most, along with Daybreak. Yeah, Daybreak. But right now Daybreak is at my top.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think Daybreak does a good job, a great balance of introducing you to that region while also having like really key plot things happen every
Yeah,
single chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like too big of a departure, but it keeps like the pace going really well in comparison to like
yeah.
Coach 1, where I felt like sometimes the game was like kind of idling a little bit at times, which wasn't bad by any means, but I just noticed it.
No, that's fair.
Daybreak also has Gotti, so it's immediately a top three.
Oh my god.
Forbidden violence, baby.
Best character. I love the NPCs in Trails, and he is easily one of my favorites.
It just was like so out of nowhere, and I was like, you know what? This is great.
This is
I just
peak.
wanted more of it.
This is peak masculinity right here. And I also love that apparently he's like a recurring character throughout the entire trilogy, and he's always doing something really stupid, and I love that.
Yes,
He's
so
back
we
in
get more of
Daybreak
it.
too. He's back.
Yeah. Also, speaking of returning characters, Direwolf came back in Daybreak along with Zin, so that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was really cool to see like some of the really, really old enforcers get like a spotlight back in Daybreak. And especially Walter, because he was and he went from like a very intimidating figure to like Van being mad at him about destroying his car,
Yeah, that was the funniest
which was
aspect of him.
amazing.
that was funny.
I loved how Walter was handled in Daybreak. Just he's always getting into like childish arguments with Zin, and he involves himself in a few quests that you can hang out with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of the main reasons why I did the Ouroboros round my first playthrough.
I went with the
Because I thought I was gonna get to play as him,
yeah,
but
that's kind
yeah,
of an L. It kind of sucks that you don't get to play as the two enforcers.
yeah,
yeah, I kind of get why they didn't do it. Because making a whole move set for people that's kind of hard for like two back side characters, kind of hard to do. But they did for Lee and they did for Shizuna. They did for Ricio, so why not them?
Well, to be fair, Shizen is also a playable character across all three games, so
Yes, but this was her first time.
yeah,
yeah.
Shizuna was easily
Yeah,
my
but
favorite edition of Daybreak, next to Elaine and Van, of course.
I also really liked Harwood. Harwood in Daybreak 1. Oh my god, like I'm really hoping he like becomes like a very major villain like
Yeah.
in the arc because he's really good
Who was it again?
at being menacing.
Who was the villain?
Harwood, Elroy Harwood, the Oathbreaker.
Oh yeah, I really liked him.
Yeah. I
The
think
guy,
probably for me
the guy really says,
one of the
"Yeah,
things that was a little weird,
do something
like
about it."
yeah, they have to do something with him. Because there's a lot that you could do, and I mean Ouroboros really didn't kind of show their true colors yet in that game. So
No, they
seeing
kind
where
of
they
went
go with it.
the era because Almada was the main villain of Daybreak 1. I really hope in Daybreak 2 they start showing
Yeah.
up again. Like they start making their presence known, or maybe they're gonna wait till Kai to do that. I don't know
I wouldn't be surprised if they just took a
because
step
I
back from
know nothing
Ouroboros
about
for a
Kai
couple of games.
Yeah.
except for some screenshots my friends had posted
What?
of that game. That game looks incredible from what I've seen.
Yeah, the visuals
So
have really taken a step up with those games.
really hope it.
Also,
Can it release this year? I don't know. It's probably gonna be early 2026 when it releases in the West.
Yeah. I'd probably agree with that too.
it's either early
I don't think they want to.
2026
I don't
or
think they want to overload us too much. Like, cause releasing like Daybreak 2 February, the Yeast game I'm guessing is gonna be like in summer. Then you have the Sky remake in fall. I don't think they want to overload us with like four. Well, then again, they did that before, but those were like localizations, not like new games.
my theory
Yeah.
is that
So
my theory is that we're going to get it around summer of 2026.
Yeah.
And they'll probably
And then
yeah.
I guess at that point then we see what happens with Xanadu too.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that game.
I have not heard anything about that game. As much as I had criticisms of the first game, I am interested to see if the sequel will be any good.
Yeah, and I mean right now, I mean they kind of showed like a poster, I guess you could say,
That's it.
but
Just a poster.
it's basically about it. But at some point you'll see more of that, just because that's kind of the pattern that they've gone on. I think from the shareholders meeting, they said they had a couple things that were unannounced, probably that we'll hear more about closer to the end of the year. But no, I'm just
Definitely
excited to see where
dedicated.
everything goes.
I do hope they take a break from Trails, so they're not going to be a game behind, 2 games behind again. But actually, I don't have to worry about that anymore because now I have a PC and I can download the patch for Kyle
Yeah.
Kaseki and the rest of them. But
Funnily enough, there's already a
if
patch
they
out for Kai, but it's like not. It's far from
there
perfect.
is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm waiting for like a really good version of that patch
I might just wait
because I don't because
until they release in the
plus I just want
West.
to finish Daybreak 2 first because
Yeah.
because like if Daybreak 2 is like a crazy ass ending, I'm gonna want to jump into Kai right away. If it doesn't, I could probably wait a couple months.
My thing is,
Yeah.
I like to wait for the Western releases solely just because I have a lot of games on my backlog. I just play in between those.
It's the English cast. Like that's another thing. I really like the English cast of Daybreak. Thought they did a fantastic job.
They did do a
Yeah.
very good job. One thing I'm interested about as the Daybreak games go on is like because it's very obvious Trails is going back to the original one. As you know, Cold Steel introduced a lot of dating mechanics, but like Daybreak is very much going back to
Yeah,
the simple like Van Elaine is like the end goal for them.
Yeah.
at least it's what we're hoping. That's what
That's
we're hoping.
apparently Anya is not the end goal because
Kondo don't do funny shit. I swear to God.
I think Elaine has always been like the projected end goal since the like very start. Like one thing I'm interested about because Daybreak 2 is like very much Van and Elaine are together at the very start of the game, so she's supposed to be like a major player in that one, and I'm very curious because some of my favorite scenes in Daybreak were those two interacting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is heavily
Yes.
implied in like one of the cutscenes for the demo that they both thought about giving it another chance.
Yes. That. Yeah. That did happen. And I'm really excited to see where they go. If they sideline, I'm gonna be really upset. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be upset. If they sideline Elaine again.
I think she's supposed to be a major character throughout the rest of the series. Like again, a big
Yeah.
aspect of her character is tied to Van, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Like
mean, it's definitely going to continue.
yeah. Elaine and Red really need to start showing up more, especially with how important they are. Not Red and Brad. I'm talking about Kincaid. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
His other friend. I feel that those two need to really have a major presence in Daybreak too, just so that we can get to know more about them.
Yeah. And their whole dynamic, going through high school and everything. And I will say I've only played the just the combat demo because I'm gonna wait on the story so I could just because I know my problem is gonna be I don't want to get to the end of that prologue and be like I want to continue but I can't. So that I'm waiting on. So I've just been doing the battle demo, and something that I'm really happy about that seems to be fixed is that like there were characters that I just hated playing in the field as, but that doesn't seem to be the same issue anymore. Like the move
Yeah,
set
because they
is a little
added
bit different.
for the magic users, they added a brand new attack mechanic,
Yeah.
Nick, for like arts users, and it makes it so much better to play them in the field
that's
in
Yeah.
actually really
comparison to
cool. Like I did
to
not know
just
that. I did not
spamming
know they added
spam
that.
and
That's
arrows.
actually rad.
Yeah, so that was something that I noticed that was really good, and like, because like for example, like using any of the people with the gun in the field, like
Very,
Renee Kincaid, and Ferry was fine because like
yeah,
it
she was
shot fast
fixed.
enough. I'm thinking about Catra. For me, like
Yeah,
it was
oh my
like
God,
that,
Catcher, I
like
love
that
you,
gun.
buddy, but
It shot
it
so
sucked
slow,
in the field.
but it's better in the combat demo. So at least I was like, okay, this is at least more usable now,
Try the
for different
combat demo,
situations.
but apparently it spoils a lot of characters that are going to be playable in the game. So
It does, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather. I mean, I know that in some way, shape, or form, they're all going to be involved, and it's just going to be like, how do we get to this point? So that's why I was like, whatever, I'll do this just so I could at least see how the things have changed in combat.
I
Um,
knew Ren was going to be playable because of all of her S-Craft pictures I've seen from
yeah,
various users on Twitter over the past 3 years,
It's the downside
probably.
of these games taking long because people who just play the patch version just know everything, and Trails is not very good
yeah,
at hiding spoilers.
Yeah, it's not as good as like like I barely like even the openings of these games like they get like super spoilery,
oh
especially
yeah,
the earlier ones.
yeah.
Like oh my, the earlier openings of the Trails games, like the Cold Steel 1 and 2 openings, Jesus. Does it make any sense in the moment? No, but when you watch it back or you complete the game, you're like, holy shit, this spoiled the entire game.
Pretty much. What were you saying, Corgi?
Um, oh no, I was just basically like just going along with it. That yeah, I'm hoping that they just keep improving the things in the combat because comparing that field combat to the metaphor combat, I had already preferred Daybreak ones to metaphors just because getting hit once and then immediately being at a disadvantage was annoying,
Oh yeah, tell me
at
about
least
it.
for
Oh
me.
yeah,
Look,
So
I
yeah.
don't think Metaphor's Overworld was bad, but good God, they got to go back to the drawing board with a couple ideas because some of that shit was so infuriating.
yeah,
The amount of times I got jumped by a stupid bull rush in that game.
Every like
And then
half the time I
and then if you get hit with an advantage in that game, you basically die. You're basically dead. Like
yeah,
you're lucky if you're gonna survive on harder
yeah,
difficulties.
it is just
Jeez.
way too punishing is the
Yeah.
problem.
Respect Atlas for actually challenging its player base again, but good God.
yeah. I mean, for me, that game, I took too many breaks kind of in between it to get to the end, and like the the difficulty spikes and then the grinding at the end, I was just like, okay, I'm ready to be
Oh,
done.
boss pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, that game
Yeah,
has
I was
I
just
was
like, I'm ready to
so
be done.
mad.
just
I was
Jesus.
so mad. Like, what the fuck? Like, my characters, I literally spent the whole game grinding. You're telling me the boss is still 5 levels above me? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, and then it's like all
Yeah.
the archetypes
It,
you gotta grind. Like it's not just your character. You gotta grind the
Yep.
archetypes.
again, Metaphor, fantastic game. Everyone who watches, go play it right now. It's on sale, but it does have issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do hope that if they do make a sequel to it, that they fix it. Some of
Or at
those
least
issues.
like refit or at least rebalance some of the stuff so it's not a pain to get through to grind.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't
No,
mind grinding in
absolutely.
RPGs, but even I have a limits on how much I'm willing to spend
Yeah,
time
the
on that.
metaphor grinding isn't just
Yeah.
fun in comparison. Like grinding in like Daybreak was fun. Like grinding Trails of Reverie was super fun because of how fun that combat system is.
Yeah.
It's like I got all my characters that game to level 250. I didn't have to, but I did it because
Yeah,
I
like
enjoyed playing the game that much.
one thing I will say about
But,
grinding,
but
if you're going to have to make me grind, then you need to introduce like I think every game that has grinding for like a true final boss needs to introduce an area where you can just farm experience easily.
Yeah.
looking at you, Octopath Travel. I'm especially looking at you,
Yeah,
Octopath
funnily
Traveler.
enough, that was the game on my mind because I never beat the final section of the game, like the true final boss. I beat all of the story, so I basically did get to the end. But that true final boss is a nightmare to sit through.
Yeah. And I mean, that game for me, like, has a great art style. It looks like it'll be fun, but I heard about all the
Oh,
grinding and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I think for the
Yeah,
most
I'm good.
part, I think the game, if I could try to say it here, it's like 80%
Mhm.
fantastic, and then there are the sections where you have to pause everything and put up with some of the grinding. And I'm usually fine with grinding, but like Octopath, just its end game is just a nightmare to
it's
sit through
really
grind
bad with
wise.
it. But that's
Thankfully,
not we're not here to talk show another RPGs though. I mean we can, but
No, no, I'm sorry, I took us off on that path, but no, I was just trying to say that it's just I really like the way that they have balanced, um, kind of the combat, both you know mostly in this demo because it seems a lot more balanced than it was even in the original Daybreak. But I'm just excited. What is it? 12 days now at this point.
12
Um,
days, we're almost there.
it's a shame that I won't be
I'm
able to
just
day
waiting on
one
my
stream
email
it, but I'll
from
try to do a midnight release for it.
I'm waiting for NIS to send me the email that they're gonna ship my thing on time. I really hope they do this time.
They're probably not
They
Okay,
gonna.
did
yeah,
it
it's
for
a
Daybreak
crapshoot.
1.
Yeah, they're probably not
They did it
gonna.
for Daybreak
Like,
1, but they made me wait a month for Reverie, so who knows?
Yeah, it's just a crapshoot at this point.
If they don't deliver it on time, I'm gonna buy it on PC and just play it there.
Yeah.
Because no,
can
I'm
you?
not dealing with
Speaking of
that
that, are
bullshit
you
again.
capable of buying it on Steam at this point?
Yes,
Okay, then I'll probably do that
yes,
later.
you can buy it. You can buy it on Steam.
Yeah, and that's something that always confuses me. I don't know why they do this, but it's like they keep the placeholder up saying, "Oh, it'll be available to buy digitally," but then they never put it up until like the day of. I'm like, why are you gonna do this? For consoles, really.
They do it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, for consoles, if it's PC, don't. There's also no pre-download, I don't think, for that game. I'm not sure, which isn't really a problem. But seriously, like no pre-download for FF7 Rebirth kind of broke me a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Like, oh, are
yeah,
you
that's
serious?
massive.
I want to download 155 gigabytes to my PC. I already did that on the PS5.
Hold on one sec. I need to. I'm just checking something real quick. Some food will be here in a minute for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still can't buy it on the Steam store.
you can't. What the
Yeah, I'm
fuck?
on Tales Through Daybreak 2.
I
Yeah,
hate it. I hate. I respect the work Nisa does, but some of their practices I just can't stand.
I'm gonna have to like probably buy it the day it comes out. Like,
Yep.
so so hopefully midnight stream. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they do it until like 9 a.m. or something like the day of,
Oh god. All
which is
right.
bullshit. But
I mean, I was able to wishlist it early on. I was able to buy it early, Daybreak 1 early.
Yeah, it's pretty inconsistent the way they've done it.
speaking of which, speaking of release dates and stuff like that, when are you gonna get more info on Sky Remake? Like,
Yeah,
when
that's
there was
actually
like a
you know what? Actually,
Nintendo Direct and a
that's a
State
perfect
of
segue to
Play.
our third talking point. How do you feel about the Sky remake coming out?
Very excited. Did I
I am
really, really
too.
want to experience that game again.
Yeah, and I see my thing is that I really don't like playing on PC because I'm not, I just want to play on a controller more easily without trying to configure or figure things out because it's just too much.
That's fair.
But
Thankfully, I think PC gaming has gotten better with that because you can now just plug in like an
yeah,
Xbox controller and it just memorizes
yeah,
everything.
and so that's exactly. So it's like, I just am excited to see it when it comes out. I mean, Gung Ho recently had another trailer up, kind of comparing it, the PC version to PC and PSP basically versus the remake, and I'm blown away by it. I mean, I really do
Night
like the
and
way that
day.
it looks. They have a lot of the, everything down. The only thing I worry about is they keep saying that there's going to be connections to some of the newer games. So I just wonder how they're going to do that. Or, is it going to be something subtle? Are they going to completely change something? That's the one thing I'm just more interested in how they're going to handle it.
One hope I have
Like
for this
mention
remake is
stuff
that
like,
one hope I really have for this remake is that they add in Ash a little bit throughout the story because that's probably going to be something they do.
oh,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Ash is probably going
No
to be
problem.
mentioned, at least a kid version of him. I'm certain if they have the balls, which I'd love to see, we get like a playable Loe for a bit.
That could be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like actual, yeah, like have like new sections dedicated to specific characters. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Imagine if they make us relive the Hamill incident. Like we control the characters in that moment. Like that would be insane. If we get to Sky
Yeah.
Second Chapter remake, I don't know if we're gonna get there. It depends
I
how well
real
this remake sells.
I really hope that we do, but it also seems like a weird way to say it because like I can't imagine you putting all the resources in and being like, "Hey, this is the best way to get into the series," and then just nothing. So
It's
I
not.
feel like it's going to happen, but it may just be delayed if it doesn't sell as well. That's kind of my 2 cents on it. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but I'm gonna die an optimist.
I mean,
Optimist on that one.
now that we're all in, go all in. This
Yeah.
needs to get the FF7 treatment.
I'll be right back.
Well,
Yeah.
I think my food's almost here.
Changes, but that's another thing. Well, I think one thing they'll mention is like, I really hope they mention. We really didn't get much info on why Cassius was missing until like Cold Steel, and we found out it's because of Sarah and Sharon were in.
Yeah.
Like maybe mention that a little bit. Like maybe mention, oh, I was helping out this bracer from Arabonia.
Yeah. And
Dealing with one of those enforcers. Just a little nod. Just a little
yeah,
nod for the
give
fans.
something. Yeah, exactly. Give something there to kind of continue it. And I hope that they keep, particular sections in there as well. Because one thing that I laugh about now, but that stealth section in the first game when you're sneaking into the base, do they keep that? Do they change it? Don't know.
Full Metal Gear Solid on it. Do the full thing.
That could be interesting for sure. But I'm just glad that it's coming. There's going to be physical editions. Unfortunately, a limited with LRG.
Limited run game.
Hopefully, the shipping is better on that one. And also, I didn't say it before, but with the Ease and Trails in the Sky fighting game, I'm hoping that gets a physical too, just because that would be nice to have in the collection with everything else. Occasionally,
It probably will.
Yeah.
Physical.
Yeah, just something. Even if there's no limited, just something, because I'd like to have it, with the rest of them at this point. Though, then again, I'm still missing 2 because no Cold Steel 1 or 2 on Switch at least.
No, that's true. They're not on Switch for some. They're on Switch in Japan, but not in America.
Yep. Don't know on that one.
Retranslate the game for Switch again? I don't know.
And I mean, the weird thing is that you could basically just take the same thing that you have on the PS4 version, at least for the translation side of things.
I'm back.
And to just get it into the game. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, but I guess it's just not some. I don't know if there's different rights associated with it that stopped it from happening, but that would be something that would be cool to see.
Xseed was the reason, but now we know that's clearly not true.
Yeah.
So no clue at this point.
Yeah, now it's just completely up in the air.
To be fair, I think Xseed has done their best translation work for the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've watched the What Happened on Sky SC. It's amazing that you managed to get that game out the door with all the setbacks they had. Hello?
All right.
Yeah. So.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Did I disconnect you for a second?
No. You were there because I could hear you. I just think the other thing with the Sky remake is just, I'm really curious about some of the music too.
Yeah.
And I hope they, try to do a little bit more with some of the other characters like Zin. It's kind of silly that in his own arc in Calvard, he's not even really a major player in it. So,
yep.
Give me something there at least. It's like, oh hey Zin, this is where you're from. By the way, you're like third and fourth wheel in the corner.
We need more time for Elaine.
Yep.
Yeah, we need more time
and Fee.
No, he was
God,
really
you're right. He got
there.
more screen time than he did.
Mm-hmm.
No, fucking Sal got more screen time.
Yes.
Pisses me off. Fucking Sal.
Damn.
I hate that bitch.
Look, man, we just needed more time so we could have Maxim in the story more.
Yes. Oh, yes. Our buddy.
To be fair, Maximin's a really fun character.
He does grow a lot, I'll say that. He's a total fucking loser, but he does genuinely grow.
Yeah. Which at least is good.
That whole race scene in Chapter 2 had me keeled over. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that invites a
That's the
question. What
best
are the
part.
traffic laws in Calvar that you can just do that and not get arrested?
But there's no laws. There's clearly no laws.
I think it's because cars are such a new thing there. They're like, oh, we can't really regulate this yet. Fine, go street racing. I don't give a fuck.
Do you think Van is canonically the first person to hit someone with their car? And that's why they have to make traffic laws?
No idea. But that is a good point.
Crazy too. Like they have cars now there. Like 6 years ago, 6 years in that game's universe ago, they didn't even know what fucking electricity was. So
Yeah,
it
and I mean,
really is insane how fast that world grew and progressed.
yeah, and I mean,
I know
what
that
Cold Steel 1, they were still making the bikes.
Yeah, they're still making the orbital bikes. Now everyone has a car. Oh, wait, no, they had cars in Crossbell, but only
Yeah.
like the super rich people like Croix had it.
Yeah, and then like some of the police, but not all of them.
And like, yeah, a big thing about that about Calvard is that they're trying to go to space as well. That was one of the plot points.
Yeah,
They're setting up like
Apparently
a
it's
space program.
High. Wonder what
Like,
they're gonna find out there.
I think the whole goal
Maybe
is
they'll
because like
find
at the end of Cold Steel
maybe
4,
they'll find the Yeast World, creating the ultimate crossover.
I think the whole point
No,
was like at the end of Cold Steel 4, they were just like, hey, there's a lot more to this world outside of Zemuria, and that's probably the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna visit McBurn's homeland or something in one of the games. It's gonna be like an infernal hellscape or something.
We're gonna go hang out with Nayuta.
Yeah, Nayuta and the Grandmaster, whatever that stupid theory was.
Yeah.
I think it's a theory anymore. After playing Nayuta and that whole scene in Cold Silver, I don't think it's a theory. I think it's just a matter of when.
I think the concept of like the Grandmaster.
Father,
I think the Grandmaster being the girl is a thing, but I cannot get behind Nayuta
no,
being McBurn.
that's far-fetched. But I do think Nayuta is somehow connected to the overall series. Yeah. Mainly because they look. I do get the girl with the Grandmaster theory, but it makes no sense either because that girl's a sweetheart. So what the hell turned her into an insane psychopath?
Well, I don't think the Grandmaster is a psychopath, is she? Like, she's pretty chill. We haven't. Well, then again, we haven't seen it.
Okay, no. Okay, not psychopath, sociopath, or maybe not even sociopath. But she. Then again, we don't really know much about the Grandmaster either. Yeah, 10 games, 12 games now. We still barely know anything. We didn't get to see what she looks like until the end of Cold Steel 4.
Yeah, and I have to say,
they kept this woman.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, the first thing that I thought of, just because based off of how the character models looked, I was like, why is Kurt's mom the Grandmaster? Because they look too similar.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it was just? Oh yeah, it was Kurt's mom the entire time.
That would have been funny.
But
that reminds me a lot of Wild Arms. I can't remember the game, but like one of the funniest things about one of the Wild Arms games is that the final boss is just this random NPC girl that's just always in the backgrounds, and it's revealed she's controlling everything.
Yeah, that's what it would be like.
Hey, that at least makes Kurt relevant to the plot.
Yeah. Other than, the hilarious whenever he evades and he just screams "not today." I don't know why I laugh every time that happens, but I do.
He's got to let everyone know.
I literally.
Yep. Poor Kurt. He got such a short end of the stick in New Class 7. It's honestly insane how little he got in comparison to the other 4.
Yeah, to be fair, he probably has the least relevance in the story.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, every bonding moment he could have had is kind of just given to Ash.
Yeah, and literally the only thing he really has is Cedric. And we all know how we feel about Cedric.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that Cedric... Like, okay, here's the thing. I don't think the idea for Cedric is bad. I just think the execution isn't great.
No.
Yeah.
Like a guy with just a bunch of insecurities in comparison to his more talented siblings falls into the hands of Osborn. But God, he's the most insufferable character to put up with.
Now, if they fix him in the newer games and he actually comes back as an actual man, maybe I'll forgive him for all the shit he pulled.
That would actually be cool to see him come back and sort of lament on how he tried to coast off everyone else's
murder his
achievements.
brother.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the fuck was going through his head. Oh, I'm gonna kill my one of my relatives of blood just so I can appease the president.
I think the funniest aspect of his whole character is like every time, like it's clear they want you to think he's as much a threat as the Ironbloods, but he
Just
always just
hilarious.
gets his ass kicked whenever he's on screen.
Yeah, the encounter we have with him,
Yeah.
not even like a 50% thing. We literally
He does not have a
to the
single
point where
victory
Michael
outside of
was
his
literally
reverie
like, "All
corridor.
right, kid, back down. You're not winning this fight."
Yeah, pretty much.
It's either a loss or Osborn has to come in to go like, all right, he's a bitch. You take on me now.
Yeah, or it's like, no, you lost. Go away. You don't get to go to the next level.
They didn't even let us fight Osborn until Cold Steel War. I'm glad they made us wait to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Because that
Osborn
man was
easily
a
has
fucking
like the best boss fight in the series. The only one that I think is as good is the Lowe one from SC.
Oh hell yeah! The actual cutscene, the actual fight is
It's long, but it's
if
really
they get
cool.
rid of those add-ons in the remake, I'll be so happy.
One thing I'm really hoping for
It's
the
an
remake
argument.
is I pray to God they don't fuck up Silver Will. That is my favorite track in the entire franchise.
You ready to hear chickens?
You do not touch Silver Will. I will kill someone at Falcom if they touch Silver Will.
I don't think they will. Like, I don't think they're gonna touch the soundtrack. That maybe they'll use like the Super Rage versions for some things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. But I don't think Senga's gonna compose a whole new soundtrack for Sky Remake. I don't see it happening.
It's also fair.
Especially since so far they've only used original music for the trailers.
Yeah.
Would it be cool to get like a remix here and there? Sure, but I don't think they're gonna do the whole OST.
Yeah, probably not, because I think one of my favorite ones, I forget what it's actually called, but when you're infiltrating the palace and you have that song that's going on, that's one of my favorites in that game. As you're
I
going
don't
through
need to tell
everything.
everybody know what you're talking about. It feels like a spy espionage theme. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it just has a really cool sound to it. Um, but I mean, that game does have a lot of really good segments that I really, really just want to see in this new engine at this point, because what I've seen so far and, kind of the combat that they have in there, how it's, more closely related to Daybreak than some of the others, is pretty neat. So I'm hoping
Link
that
attacks
helps.
are back though. I haven't noticed that. Link attacks are returning
Yeah.
in Sky Remake, which is
Yeah,
something
how
they've
is
done
that?
away with in Daybreak.
How is that gonna work? Because that was a whole aspect of the Arxis system.
Yeah. That's another thing that I'm wondering about. I don't know if that's going to tie in with the, trying to make other connections with, Trails games that came after it. But that's one of those things where I'm like, how are you going to, say that this is, going to happen?
Yeah, that's one thing I like about this series is that for the combat, like they actually explain it in universe how it actually happens. That's something a lot of RPG series just don't really do. It's like, oh hey, you can do this. There's no reason for it, just do it.
You can do team
And
attacks with this dog you just met, Cloud Strife. How? Shut up. That's how.
Yeah, for fun.
Yeah, you immediately unlock all team synergies for Kate's if you have enough EXP. Even though you have it for 5 minutes. Now, if you actually want to play Kate Steph, I question you, but that's my thing. So, Kate Steph was pretty fun in Rebirth. At least in the segments where you're not playing as him alone, because good god.
Oh, you mean Chapter 11?
Yes, Chapter 11. Fuck that chapter. Fuck that chapter. That's why I will never play that. Well, I'm not looking forward to that part of my PC replay. And doing it on hard mode, oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Rebirth hard mode in general was like, it's just overkill. It's just so overkill for what it should be. Like that final boss took me like 4 hours to beat, and it was like 1 a.m. when I did it, and it was honestly insane. But I pulled it off. And then I couldn't beat the Charlie segment, so I didn't get the platinum anyway, because Square Enix hates me.
Yeah, what was it? I think for that one, I missed out on redoing the games at the Golden Saucer, and I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? I hated most of those anyway, so I'll just won't finish the quests.
I did
Yeah,
every single one of those mini games to completion. I think I lost a part of my soul
yeah,
doing
I
all
see.
that.
Yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of, and I was like, no, I have a limit here.
Yeah, like I really hope for part three they actually tone. Well, apparently they're not gonna tone back the mini games, but I hope they implement them better. Because I actually like a lot of the mini games in Rebirth. It's just that they're everywhere and they constantly interrupt you at
Yeah,
times.
that was probably my biggest thing too, because because I was thinking about it when I was creating my list for the end of the year of everything that I beat, and I had Daybreak over pretty much everything because I was like, look, I played Daybreak start to finish. I didn't put it down. I didn't have any breaks in between, and
You took
I
breaks during
had it.
Metaphor Rebirth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Rebirth I put down not as often as I did Metaphor, but that one I did, and then Infinite Wealth, which was another game I did really like for the most part.
Infinite Wealth was too long. I'm gonna say Infinite was way too long.
Yeah,
Infinite Wealth was kind of bloated.
yeah. I know we strayed off topic, but
Oh, it's perfectly
that was
fine.
just
Yeah,
kind of how it
yeah,
yeah that was just how I felt with that by the end of the year because I was like, these are four really solid RPGs, but only one of them I went
you
through,
had
and
had
then
your full attention from start to finish.
exactly, and then when I finished it, the very first thing I said is, "Let's do that again." So for
Yeah,
me, that's why I said that was my favorite of the year. That's not taking anything away from the others, but for me, it was just the one that resonated the most with me. I didn't put it down. I went through it, and at what was it, chapter 5, when you had the different groups, I just kept a save
yeah.
file and I just switched between each one of them because I wanted to see it through.
I think my personal
So
favorite game of last year. I've already made the video on it, but I still stand by it being
yeah,
Unicorn Overlord.
Yes, Unicorn
yeah,
was fantastic.
Like that game
Everyone who's in
was
yes
like,
right now, go buy Unicorn Overlord right now. Unless you have a PC. If you have a PC, it's not on there for some reason. But if you have anything else, go buy it.
yeah,
There's
it
a
was
free demo.
very very good, and it's like like yes, there were games that year that did stuff better, but I can't really think of a game that I
yeah,
actively went out of my way to do everything in.
yeah.
I really hope the next Fire Emblem takes notes from Unicorn Overlord. I really do.
Yeah, I
Just
think for me, like I bought Unicorn Overlord because like strategy RPGs is not really my thing, but I love the art style, the music. I played a little bit of the demo, and now I'm going to try to play the whole thing when I have kind of space in between things. But I mean, the aesthetics and everything are beautiful on it.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite part. It looks amazing.
yeah, it's a beautiful game. Like, how the fuck was that not nominated for Best Art Direction?
Yeah,
Because they're
Yeah,
scared of those with
like
true power.
seriously? Yeah, Game Awards are too afraid of the Elf Girls.
Yeah, human and elf mating rituals has laid just straight up become a meme, and I love it.
It's not even in the game. It's not even in the game. Someone randomly made that and then everyone perceived it as it being a Unicorn Overlord.
I've literally just gone around and told people that's in the game just to trick them because it's funny.
Again, the masturbator at work.
Yeah, I am quite a masturbator. Whoa, wait. Not like that. I promise.
All right, back to discussion.
Meanwhile, Trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back
I
on
definitely got to
trail.
find some time to play Rebirth this year because I never played it.
Yeah,
You do stream if you do eventually if you actually stream it, it'll be there,
I'm
no matter
thinking
what.
about streaming it. I'm not certain. It really just depends on how far we get with the Xeno series stuff I've been streaming. But yeah, other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, very very excited for the remake of Trails through Day of Trails in the Sky. Very excited to see them put out more of those because I've no doubt they're going to make multiple of them.
yeah.
And I'm
Plus, they'll
I
remake it 2035.
I need Sky SC to get that
Yes.
remake treatment, and
definitely
Yeah.
in
that
and even
one.
Sky the Third, which Sky the Third, while probably my least favorite overall Trails game, mostly just because of the layout of it, not because of anything else, but you know, I
They could
still
do
want
some
to redo that. They
crazy
could do a
stuff
lot of
with
cool things with
that
that.
one.
Yeah, because I
With like
mean,
a
like
3D environment.
yeah, because I
Absolutely.
mean, the Reverie corridor was pretty fun to be able to do it, and I don't know how March Garden is going to be, but we'll see how they fully execute it in Daybreak 2 and Kai.
So far, it
But
really does seem like Marching Garden's just the evolution of the Reverie Corridor.
yeah,
I know Coach has no idea what we're talking about because he didn't play the demo, but it's basically Reverie Corridor 2.0.
All right.
yeah,
Except it's not. I don't think it's as intertwined as the Reverie Corridor was with Trails in the Reverie for obvious reasons.
yeah,
Because Reverie Corridor was the whole thing for that game.
I mean, I like the River Corridor, so I'm probably gonna like the Garden.
yeah,
The less characters to play around with might make it a little. I don't know. Hopefully, they actually make it varied enough because I just don't like. Trails is one of the only series though that where you don't have to grind. That's the best part. That's sort of a great part.
yeah,
You don't have to grind in this series ever.
Yep.
I never had to grind, not once, for anything.
It's always nice.
yeah.
Well, actually, no. Crimson did have to grind to beat that robot in Azure
Yeah, the true
because
final
Crimson
boss.
played Trails to Azure on hard,
Yeah.
which is something you should never do with the older Trails games unless you have a Death Wish.
Yep.
And uh, I still remember how mad you were during the whole final segment.
So fun story about
Did,
all of that. Uh, so Sable did. I don't think Sable. No, Sable knew what my stuff was, but he never didn't come to the streams. And I think I finished this up before you showed up, Joey. I had learned the reason that fight was so hard was because I had accidentally left on the increased levels by 100.
Oh my god.
So I was wondering why, and then out of nowhere, it kind of hit me when I was about to start streaming. It was like, okay, because I was writing out a plan of attack for this boss fight, and then I'm like, wait a second, hold on. And then I pause and I go to the settings, and that was still on. So I'm like, so that's why I kept losing.
Yeah.
oh my god.
And then I beat it in like
You know,
20
it would be
minutes.
nice they could like, hey, you have this difficulty spike factor on. Do you want to keep this enabled going into this fight?
Nope.
To be fair, I probably should have just checked.
No, struggle a bit first. Struggle a little bit first.
Yeah, I
See
had
if you might be able to pull it off.
I had to struggle to
It was a
truly
whole
learn what power
stream.
was.
Like
And
it was honestly really, it was honestly really heartbreaking to watch. Like,
what was?
and yeah, that the final boss of Azure is easily the worst one in the series.
Oh yeah, the
It's
final
not
the
good.
Azure boss I did not like. That was one that really
The
turned me off
music
from the
carries
finale.
that fight so hard. It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I mean, I still really like that game in general. I think it's probably my third overall ranking wise. But yeah, I can agree with that.
Oh, I loved Azure, don't get me wrong, but it just has areas that really get on my nerves. Its boss fights
Yeah.
are just some of the least fun to fight.
Yeah.
You didn't
And I
like
mean,
Campanella constantly shielding and turning you into jalapenos?
No, that fight was funny. Don't get me wrong. That fight was the only one I thought was funny. The battles against like the giant lion thing. If you remember that fight, that one wasn't really fun. The tank was just
Yeah, the cryptids.
the tank. It was
The
just the
robot.
like car tank just took forever because of how high its defense was. Even when I was weakening its defense, it wasn't fun to fight. The ice falcons were a nightmare. Like,
Oh my! I remember
Yeah.
that. You couldn't even get a hidden
so
on some attempts.
for some reason, it doesn't let you buy lighters in that game, so you have to buy solar pendulums.
Yeah, like, and this is probably mainly due to you playing on hard, but it's just absurd.
It definitely was
how
a matter of me
insane
playing on hard. Like,
on hard difficulty.
God, imagine if it was Nightmare. I would have quit.
oh my god.
It's nightmare like. If that was hard,
Nightmare would have.
Mad Props, they don't even beat Trails games on Nightmare. That one, actually, you could probably beat Daybreak on Nightmare with basically zero issues,
Yeah, pretty much.
except for maybe the final boss.
I do think Nightmare could be done.
Yeah, I mean, I never went that far just because I'm just trying to keep it kind of simple when I'm playing because I got enough other crazy things going on that I don't need I don't need to make it worse with this.
It's fair.
Um,
I'm actually try Daybreak 2 on hard. Like, I'm actually play that game on hard. I'm not sure yet. Because I feel
yeah,
like I'm experienced enough at this franchise that apparently Daybreak 2 is the hardest game in the series, too.
yeah, because don't the like the bosses don't they have the S craft breaks now too?
They have S breaks, and there's now a new mechanic where it literally limits how much you can use your S craft.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't just spam it.
Goodbye, CP Copenhagen. Goodbye,
Yeah.
CP Van. You had a good
Yep.
run, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much me in Reverie with using the ridiculous team of like Laura and then Aurelia, and just launching everything anytime you go into a big battle. So
Damage.
I remember
exactly.
Laura and Reen were definitely hard hitters for my group. One of the funniest things was the
Yeah.
second you get McBurn in that game, and he just kills everything with his insane level of burn damage.
Yeah.
That was the best part of Referee. Getting McBurn and Vita as playable characters.
Yeah, like that's one thing I really like about Trails is that you basically get like whenever they let you play as a boss character, they're just as strong as you
They're as
think they'd
broken
be.
as they should be.
Yeah.
There's no pussying down here.
He genuine
Here we have
like fucking McBurn legit feels like a killing machine that
yes.
you should be afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I always hated those battles with him.
I found it hilarious in Cold Steel 3 that you can cheese Crescent Mirror on him and just reflect all of his damage back at him. Like, this is the strongest enforcer. The fuck it is.
It's like, not today.
Yeah, and that those
Just
Crescent Mirrors also
launch
just
it
work
right
for his.
back at him.
Plus, those Crescent Mirrors also apparently work on his S-Crafts.
Oh my god. Yeah, see, I never did that. I kind of made it harder on myself. So I just tried to cheese as much as I could with the crafts.
I respect it. That's
At
how I
least Cold
play.
Steel for sure. So I never took advantage of any of those strategies, but that's got to be too funny.
It was. It was very, very funny. Like, the second I figured out I did that, that's what I was spamming.
Sorry about that. I had to go do something real quick.
No problem. Okay, so are there any other things you guys want to talk about? Like, we're sort of approaching the end. I had to go a little short here, but any other trails
Yeah,
things?
like trying to run out of things to say too. Just like
Anything you got to say, Sable?
I mean, for me, I'm just excited to experience more of it. I mean,
yes.
I basically marathoned through the series over the last year or two. So, I've definitely gotten into it late. So it's just exciting to have, this series because like some of the other things there's other series that I enjoy, but this one's clearly, just become my favorite just from the characters and the world building. So anytime there's more of it, I'm down for that. So
Yeah,
I don't care if the plot of this game is ass. I just I just want more of the world itself so that I can just have some fun with it, and just enjoy it.
Oh, I definitely get that. I'm gonna see if I can push more Trails people to try One Piece because if you love world building, One Piece is perfect at that.
Yeah.
There he goes again, showing One Piece.
I will forever shill One Piece. But yeah, that's the end of episode 3. Thank you guys for coming. We're all hoping Daybreak 2 is really fun.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yep, I'm glad.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I was happy we could get you all on. Maybe if I ever do another one, I'll invite you guys back and we'll try to get more people on here to do a big Trails retrospective.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
after Daybreak 2 releases, we can all talk spoiler cast about that game.
Yeah, I'll probably
Yeah.
invite. I'll try to see if I can get like Cyrus Bright on here and like Yu because I know they're huge Trails fans.
Yeah, that can be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.